Great. I'm going to call to order this work session of the Monroe County Board of Commissioners, January 26, 2022, and we'll begin with Commander Crow. Good morning.
Good morning, Commissioners. The reason that I wanted to speak with you today, we were given an opportunity to place a naloxone vending machine in our lobby. And this was done through Operation Overdose Lifeline. And this is a project from the Governor's Office and the Division of Mental Health and Addiction. And Overdose Lifeline is trying to place 19 machines across the state in jails or in jail lobbies. And to date, I believe they have 4: Du Bois County, St. Joe County, Tippecanoe County, and Wayne County. So as you all are aware, we have a really good partnership with Centerstone because of our New Beginnings program. And they've kind of been the middleman between this. So hopefully with your approval, we can move forward with placing one of these vending machines in our lobby. I think we would have to do maybe a little bit of wiring, have an electrical drop put in. But I think there's plenty of space if we do some rearranging and things like that. And I think it would be a great addition to the community. A little statistic that Overdose Lifeline has placed on their website is people that have been incarcerated are 129 times more likely to suffer an overdose than the general population. So if we place one of these vending machines in the lobby, it's easy access and it's free. It's free to us. It's free to the public that want to use it. I think the vending machine will hold 300 packets or kits, naloxone kits. So it'll be a good supply, a good opportunity, good placement for those people in the community. And that's my spiel for today.
Great. Thank you so much. Are you looking for a vote today?
That's up to you. Basically, I was just wanting to present the information. I know that you'd like to have the information presented, give you the opportunity to think about, discuss it, whatever. If you're comfortable with voting on it today, that's fine. If not, we can wait until next week.
Okay, thank you so much. Comments, questions, Commissioner Giffens?
Yes, 2 things. I did glance through what you sent to us, but are these going to be nasal or injection kits? Do you know?
They're nasal.
Oh, good. They're much. That's much.
As far as I know.
Requires far less training, I think, to administer them. And I was talking with Chris Hebert, who is the former head of the local Indiana Recovery Alliance. I was talking to him over the weekend, actually, and he actually said to me, we should have something like this at our correctional facility. So, wow, I opened things the next day and here it is. So fabulous work.
Commissioner Jones?
Yes, is this something where members of the public could just come in and avail themselves of it in order to have naloxone on hand in case it should be needed? Yes,
it's free to the public. So anyone that wants to come in, part of the requirements is that it's placed in a secure area. So, the jail lobby, we have cameras in there. That way, if someone does try to come in and take all 300 doses or 300 kits, we would be able to record who that was. But otherwise, it's free to the public. And that was the whole idea, was easy access, easy attainability for anyone that needs it. And at today's day and age, there's not very many people that have been affected by someone that has overdosed. So I think it's a win-win for the community.
Yeah, the community is very lucky that you're taking this action, and I just want to thank you. It'll make us a safer, healthier community, I hope.
And there'll be some signage on the outside of the building, do you think?
I'm not sure of that. I know there will be a press release. That's one of their things with Operation with Overdose Lifeline is they want to have a press release once it's installed. So I'm sure it'll be in the paper. There'll be some coverage over it.
Okay. Great. It would be nice if we could get some signage as well, just so that the public's aware of what's there, and that'd be really helpful. My colleagues have a preference on voting today or moving this to another meeting?
This is something that I have spoken in depth with Sheriff Swain, and he's very supportive of this as well.
Great. That's an excellent.
I'm ready to move on it.
Okay. Someone want to go ahead and make a motion?
I move that we sign an MOU to place an overdose lifeline naloxone kit vending machine inside our correctional center lobby.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Let's see if there's any public comment on this item. Raise your hand at the Zoom screen. Okay, Mr. Copper, will you please call a roll on approving the MOU?
Commissioner Thomas,
Yes.
Commissioner Githens,
Yes.
Commissioner Jones.
Yes.
Motion is approved, 3-0.
Great. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you. Have a good day.
You too. Thanks for doing this. All right, next we have Public Defender, Mr. Hunt, regarding the Title 4E supplemental grant.
Good morning.
Good morning. It looks like we have Ms. Stoffel here as well. Morning.
Yes, good. I assume you are generally aware that this county participates in a statewide program wherein if we meet certain standards for the defense of indigents, we get reimbursed 40% of some of our cases, and they're divided into different groups. What this grant agreement that we submitted has is that two of the groups called CHINS, or Children in Need of Services, and termination of parental rights, we currently get reimbursed 40%, but the state has obtained some federal money, and they are proposing, if the commissioners agree, to reimburse us the other 60% on those types of cases. Now, I can't tell you how much that will be. It will depend on the number of cases and the formula they run through it. But it is extra money, and it goes in, and then we can use that in just about any manner to help perform with these cases. So that's what we're asking. We've submitted the paperwork. It's for a year, but then they talk about the second year. So I don't know how long it will last. And we have to submit quarterly reports, which we do now, and those will be included, and that's where they will get the statistics and then reimburse the county. So I'm available unless Heather has something else. If you have any questions. Do you have anything else, Heather? No? Okay.
Okay, comments, questions, Commissioner Githens?
Even though this is only a year, will this allow the Public Defender's Office to hire anybody new since there's extra funding?
Well, I don't know, because I don't know how much, I doubt it. I don't know that it'll be that much money. But we would have to wait and see, because we submit the quarterly report and then we get reimbursed the next quarter for that. So I don't know, but if there's enough money, that would certainly help us, yes. And it will go into the fund. Right now, our reimbursement and user fees supply about $1 million a year to the county, and then the county general supplies about $1.3 million, I think, to our budget. So we're fairly equal there.
Commissioner Jones?
Yeah, I know that the number of CHINS cases have been skyrocketing during COVID. So I'm very pleased to hear that we'll be able to save this money and hopefully help them out more.
We are too.
Yeah, it's really great. is there an urgency to completing this grant agreement?
Not that I know of. Heather, is there any, I suppose sooner that we complete it, the sooner we start.
There is a deadline for the signature on the contract.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I spoke with Jeff just before this meeting, because this is actually kind of an extension of an already existing
That's-
contract.
That's what I was going to ask, if that could just be considered an extension. Perfect.
Yep.
You got there before I did. Thank you so much. Excellent. Okay. So would someone like to make a motion on this grant extension?
I move that we extend the Title 4E supplemental grant approval to include the additional money that's being offered to the state of Indiana.
Second.
We have a motion and we have a second. Is there any public comments on this item? Just raise your hand on the Zoom screen. Okay, Mr. Cockrell, did you want to add something?
I would just note that the draft in our packet does not have who the notices will be sent for the county, and we will just go ahead and put in whatever the current grant agreement says. I assume it's someone at the defender's office, but it's not on there, but we'll make sure that gets on before it's submitted.
Great, thank you for that, appreciate it. Okay. And seeing no public comments, Mr. Cockrell, will you please call the roll on the extension of the Title 4E supplemental grant?
Commissioner Thomas,
Yes.
Commissioner Githens,
Yes.
Commissioner Jones.
Yes.
Motion is approved, 3-0.
Thank you all so
Great.
much.
Thank you very
all.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This is great news. All right. Item 3, Ms. Gregory. There you are. Good morning.
Good morning. I'm here today to present to you the 100R, which is a certified report of names, duties, and compensation for all Monroe County employees. If you recall, it feels like we just did this last year, but it's been a full year. Anyhow, this is just one of those things that I present to you annually, just as a formality, part of code. We also publish, upload to the Indiana Gateway, and post in 3 locations so that we complete the requirements. So yeah, again, just a housekeeping item, and you have it in your packet, I believe.
It's actually on the website with our listed agenda items as a separate item. So that's where that is. Appreciate that. Mr. Cockrell, do we need to, I'm sorry, I don't remember. Do we need to vote to accept this report?
I think you're voting to certify it and send it to the state.
Okay, excellent. I'm going to go ahead and, well, first let's see if there are comments or questions from my colleagues.
Yes, under the fund name, it's got Public Defender Supplemental and fund number 1200, and amount varies in terms of the cover sheet that we were sent.
Oh yeah, that's not right. No, that's not right at all. It shouldn't have a fund name or an amount or a fund number.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened. The cover sheet that I printed from what I sent does not have that information.
I'm not trying to throw a wrench into the wheel here. this is what I downloaded from.
No, it should not, that information should not be on there. I'm assuming that's an error somewhere in the system that it copied from the previous.
I think it's from the previous
Yeah.
item that we just.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know why it's on there. Yeah, no, that should not be on there. You have other questions?
Added last minute, and that is on me. An email didn't send.
That's okay.
So,
No,
I apologize.
Don't worry about it. It's just a point of information for and edification for anybody in the public who's looking at the packet online. So no worries, it's fine. Did you have other comments or questions, Commissioner Githens?
No, it's a pretty dense report.
It is. Uh, Commissioner Jones, did you have comments or questions?
No, I don't. Thank you for doing this.
Yeah, it's important to have this done for sure. And does somebody want to make a motion on this?
I move that we accept the 100R-2021 Monroe County Total Compensation Report as presented today by Ms. Gregory.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second, and this is to certify the report and to move it forward to the state of Indiana, correct? Did I get all that proper? Okay, good. All right, let's see if there's any public comment on this item. Feels like it's been a long day already. I don't know why. Just raise your hand on the Zoom screen. Okay, seeing none, Mr. Cockrell, will you please call the roll on the 100R report for 2021?
Commissioner Thomas,
Yes.
Commissioner Githens,
Yes.
Commissioner Jones.
Yes.
Motion is approved, 3-0.
All right. Thank you so much, Ms. Gregory. Appreciate you.
Yeah.
All right, we do have a few other items that are not listed on our agenda. I know one of them, Mr. Evans, Technical Services Department Director, has an item for us. Good morning.
Yes. Hi, everyone. So yes, what I've got here is an agreement between us, Monroe County, and Comcast to provide internet bandwidth to the Napa Know-How building across from the convention center. It's my understanding we will be using that building in some manner for the upcoming elections. We don't know what we're going to use that building for, but we know it's going to need some kind of internet bandwidth. So we're just getting that taken care of as early as we can. If you sign this today, I am told we could get an install date as early as next week. Which would
Okay.
put us in.
Have a copy of this to put up on the screen for us to look at because we don't have a packet?
Yes, I do. Let us do.
And make it
that.
large for us too.
Okay.
We're very demanding.
No, I'm just gonna have to. Let's pull it up here.
This is something we can approve today and ratify next week, I assume.
So
Yes.
Thank you.
There's two. Okay. Napa contract. Napa. Okay. There, the green. Green. All right. Can you see that?
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, this is the contract. Essentially, what we're looking at, it's very simple. It's their stock contract. We've got an initial setup fee of $119.95. That is non-recurring. Our monthly service charge for the course of the 2-year contract is going to be $190 a month. That gets us 1 gigabit data down and 35 megabits up. It also gets us a landline that's going to be going in there and a variety of other business services that they offer that we will make no use of.
Great. Can you scroll down to the bottom again? Thank you so much. 1995. All right, great. Comments, questions, Commissioner Githens?
Yeah, we won't have to pay all the extra fees and taxes on this that a private individual pays. Is that correct?
No, what you're seeing is what we pay, $190 a month, not a cent more.
Fabulous. I wish I could get the same deal at my house. Okay.
You can if you hire me to negotiate it for you.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. That may be a conflict of interest. I don't know.
Maybe.
To get that deal, I did have to perform for them the Napa jingle from the old Napa commercial.
appreciate your willingness to do that.
I would like for you to point out to the public that you tried to get a one-year contract and that it was going to be even more to pay for a one-year contract total than what all that we would pay across 2 years.
Yeah, I mean, I think most people watching this meeting are pretty familiar with Comcast sales tactics. Yeah, I did try to get it done for a one-year contract because I know that, people don't want to be locked down to doing one particular thing at that location for more than just this year. But for a one-year contract, instead of paying $190 a month, we'd be paying somewhere along the lines of $450 a month for less bandwidth. So that is why I made that decision.
Good decision. Commissioner Jones, comments, questions?
Just thank you for moving quickly on this and taking the initiative. This is all needed for the elections, which are coming up awfully quickly. So it's wonderful that you've been able to be so proactive about it.
Yeah, certainly appreciate that. I'm going to go ahead and make a motion that we approve this contract with Comcast for the Napa building with $119.95 installation, $190 a month for 24 months for service. And that we will go ahead and hear this at the next meeting to ratify it.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and we have a second. And thank you, Mr. Evans, for working on this. Appreciate your flexibility and the time you've taken to negotiate a good deal as best as you can, as best as anybody can. We'll see if there's any public comment on this item. If there is, raise your hand on the Zoom screen. And we would like to have this item again, just reminder on our agenda next week for ratification. Do we know what fund this is going to be paid out of, Mr. Evans?
Yes. I believe the plans are to pay for it from the cumulative capital. I believe it's 1138-30006-000-0000.
I hope you have that memorized.
It's one of my regulars.
All right. I don't see any hands raised for public comment. So, Mr. Copper, will you please call the roll on the Comcast contract?
Commissioner Thomas,
Yes.
Commissioner Githens,
Yes.
Commissioner Jones.
Yes.
Motion is approved, 3-0.
Thank you, Mr. Evans.
All right, thanks for having me.
Thank you. All right. Mr. Cockrell, did you have an item for our agenda today? I believe you sent an
I
email.
did, and it comes by way of Lisa Ridge, who is not here today. As you guys are well aware, we've got an agreement to put a brine facility at the highway garage. As part of that, it needs to have power. And so we've been working with Duke, and they have an easement agreement that they need signed before they can begin their work. And if you want me to, I'll share my screen, and hopefully this will, there. Hopefully you can see that. The dashed line here is where the line is going to go, and the easement would be a 15-foot wide easement. It's got standard language that we're not going to put anything that blocks it. We won't plant trees under it. That, the kind of stuff. And if there is any foliage, they'll come out and they reserve the right to come out and trim trees and things like that. So it's kind of the standard easement agreement, and that's what it's for. Given that she called me yesterday in somewhat of a concerned state, I think it would be best if we went ahead and approved this. I guess if you guys wish, we could bring it back next week, but this is all part of a pretty big project that we've talked about a bunch, and so I don't think it's necessary. I think the public understands when we put the brine facility out there, there's going to be a power line that runs to it.
Excellent. Yeah, I don't see a need to bring it back either, since there's no money involved here, but it's interesting. So they're not doing an underground line, they're doing an overhead line.
I think that's the case. At least
Yeah.
that's how it's worded.
Mhm.
Although there is some language in there about an underground line.
Mhm.
Let's see. If you look, let's see.
There it is, to support the underground facilities.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
So I think it will be underground unless, I mean, it could go either way. So I think the intent is for underground, but when they get out there, I think it's going to be a field site kind of.
Yeah, if it's really rocky or if they run into something, they might go overhead. Okay, I was just curious about that. Okay, thank you. Comments, questions, Commissioner Giffens?
No, I'm glad that this is getting taken care of.
Commissioner Jones?
No, I don't.
Okay, and I don't either. Let's see if there's any what comments on this item. Oh, we do need a motion, sorry.
I move that we approve the easement with Duke Energy Indiana LLC for a power line at the new brine facility.
Second.
That works. All right, we motion in a second. Let's see if there's any public comment on this item. Okay, seeing none, would you please call the roll on this approval of the easement, Mr. Cockrell?
Commissioner Thomas,
Yes.
Commissioner Giffens,
Yes.
Commissioner Jones.
Yes.
Motion is approved, 3-0.
Right, thank you so much. Let's see if anyone else has an item for us. Looks like Ms. Purdy, do you have an item for us for our agenda?
I do not.
Okay, well, that's easy. All right, great. Anything else for good of the order, my colleagues? All right, wonderful. With that, thank you all, and we are going to be adjourned. Thanks, everyone.